December 25th, 2002. Probably Christmas time. The day little JohnRamen's life changed. Whether it was for better or for worse is still to be determined. It all began when I received a Game Boy Color from my cousin. Originally his that he no longer wanted, he handed it to me, along with the games Pokémon Red, Blue, and Silver. Lil JohnRamen was a fan of the Pokemon anime, but had never realized that I could actually have my own journeys with these creatures. I was so excited to begin my journey. However, my journey began with a choice. This choice is the antithesis of the path that every gamer decides to walk. Two sides of the same coin, light and darkness fighting for coexistence, order in a world filled with chaos. The choice of picking either Pokemon Red or Pokemon Blue. I knew Silver was out of the question for now, as I wanted my journey to begin the same as anyone else's, with the original beginning. I thought long and hard. Both Pokemon on the covers were iconic enough that I would not want to be judged for picking one over the other, yet I knew I would have to. A journey must begin somewhere. That somewhere for me was Pokemon Blue. Blue was my favorite color at the time, and I like Blastoise's design over Charizard's, so this was honestly a very easy pick. That pick translated over to my starter as well, as I picked up Squirtle and was ready to head out into the world. Obviously, I am unable to recreate my exact experience with how my team was for each battle, my moveset, and who I all caught, etc, etc. This playthrough's recreation is based on what team I still had when I booted up the game. That's right, I still have my original file that I started all those years ago. When I looked at it for the first time again, I thought to myself, this team actually isn't half bad. There are some questionable things within the team, but we will get to them later. For right now, all we have is our Squirtle and a Dream. But against Brock, this fight is super trivial as we just spam Bubble to defeat his Geodude and Onix. Squirtle evolves into Wartortle on our way to Mount Moon, where we get our second team member being Geodude. At the time, I thought rock types were cool because most attacks did little to no damage to them, so I kept the Geodude line on my team. But now, I must tell a small, sad tale. You see, little JohnRamen was not socially adept. Hell, big JohnRamen is still very socially awkward. While I did have some friends growing up, interest in video games, especially that of Pokemon, was not very popular. For that reason, any Pokemon involving a trade evolution was completely unattainable for me. Gengar, Alakazam, Machamp, Golem. To me, these four were even rarer than the legendaries that roamed the region. Unable to be caught in the wild, unable to be traded away to trigger some sort of metamorphosis to make them change and become stronger. It's for this reason I avoided Pokemon like this in future games, as I did not want the cruel reminder that I was forbidden from obtaining these four, and many more as the years went on. It wasn't until Black and White where I had friends that still enjoyed Pokemon, and trade evolutions were easier to get to, but still, something prevented me from keeping Pokemon like that on my team. Anyway, as we leave Mount Moon, we crush our rival, beat the gauntlet that is Nugget Bridge, and catch our third team member, Bellsprout. I don't really have a backstory for why Bellsprout line was on my team. I think I just needed someone who could use Cut, and he just kind of stuck around. Which makes the Misty fight a bit easier to handle. Staryu goes down to a few Vine Whips, meanwhile Starmie is extremely bulky to the plant, but Bellsprout gets a poison powder off before he goes down. Up until this point, Bellsprout was very prone to getting hit by critical hits. And long story short, for Gen 1, that just means he was slower than I originally thought. Wartortle is able to clean up afterwards though, so no big deal here. We clear through SS Anne and obtain Cut. With access to Cut, I must immediately retrieve an item that is crucial to the future of this playthrough. Thanks to Diglett Tunnel, I am able to backtrack all the way to Pewter City and enter the research area of the museum to obtain an old amber. Gee, I wonder what this will be for. Now, I think we can all agree that Lieutenant Surge has the worst gym puzzle in the entire franchise. It is so uninteractive, it makes no sense to his theme aside from the fact you're flicking electrical switches, and it's just overall boring. Like, this took me nearly 10 minutes to do. So for that, we punish Surge by clicking Dig with Geodude 3 times. After blindly walking our way through Rock Tunnel, we enter Celadon City. It is here we pick up our fourth team member from some random dude's apartment. Eevee has joined the team. Now the big question is, what should I evolve it into? We have Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. We already have Wartortle for water types. Jolteon is pretty speedy, plus it's my favorite evolution. And then we have Flareon. who exists? The answer is pretty simple, right? Vaporeon. We evolved it into Vaporeon. And before anyone gets any dumb ideas, 1, I was 4 years old choosing this. 2, that meme wasn't around back then, so all of you can just back off. I also don't know what my thought process was for choosing Vaporeon, but hey, it's pretty bulky. I hate the internet. Onto Erica's gym with our 2 water types, our rock ground type, and our grass type. I did teach Vaporeon Ice Beam to be able to hit her grass types for super effective damage, however, Victory Bell had other plans for me. What was the backup plan for this? Abuse Gen 1 mechanics. I won't get into the specifics on why this works, but basically Wrap is one of the most broken moves in these early games. You can constantly do damage and your opponents cannot attack or switch, so Weepin' Bell ends up being our MVP for this gym. Our remaining 2 teammates are locked behind Surf, so we hightail it to Fuchsia City, get the Surf HM from the Safari Zone. Oh god, most people probably don't even know what an HM or what the Safari Zone is nowadays. That hurts me on an emotional level. Anyways, we're fighting Koga now with his bulky poison types. For the record, I did not do a lot of grinding in this playthrough, so entering the battle, I am 10 levels under his lead Coughing. This should go well, right? Well, Coughing gets paralyzed from Body Slam, then goes down to a few Ice Beams. Muck does end up poisoning Graveler, but 2 digs knock it out with ease. The second Coughing goes down to more Body Slams. Now, Koga's Ace Wheezing is level 43. Again, I am severely underleveled for this fight. I hit 1 dig and do a surprising amount of damage. 1 more will do it. Unless Wheezing self-destructs. Nothing like going out on your own terms, but what a weird way to win a fight. With the ability to surf outside of battle unlocked, we make our way all the way back to Pallet Town. Could I have just captured a Pidgey or a Spearow just to fly me back? Yes. Do I like to suffer under my own pre-established rules for this very casual playthrough of a game that is older than me if we're going by Japanese release date? Also yes. Now that we've made it to Cinnabar Island, we give our old Amber we acquired so long ago to this research fellow, who revives him into our precious Aerodactyl, becoming our 5th team member. With that, I'd like to take a moment to showcase some wholesome cringe. While uncovering this old team, I searched through my PC to reminisce on the many Pokemon I have caught on my first journey. And while I did not nickname all my Pokemon, I did name a few of them. First, we have my OG Aerodactyl named Beard Zone. I guess I thought he had a beard for some reason. My Ghastly, named Gacy, or Gassy I guess. I don't know what I was going for with this one, to be honest with you. We have Magmarido, the Magmar. Honestly, I like the name Magmar, but my guess is I just tried to make it sound even cooler by slapping a bunch of random letters to the end of its name. And my personal favorite, Egg, the Execute. Such a dumb name. I love it. While we're here on Cinnabar Island, might as well get the gym out of the way, seeing as we have 2 water and 2 rock types on our team now. So we head into the Pokemon Mansion. And hey, it's Magmarido! Plot twist, this is our final team member. And I found him with relative ease considering he's a 10% encounter. With his capture, my OG team is complete, aside from a few evolutions still need to happen. Another thing that happens with this capture is hearing my opinion on Gen 1 moveset. As you can see, Magmar is level 34, and only knows the move Ember, something Charmander can learn at level 9. Magmar's next move it learns is at level 36, being Leer. I honestly have no idea why I put this atrocity on my team aside from the fact that I wanted type coverage, but let's be real here, this thing is garbage, and honestly, you don't see much of it in this playthrough anyways. Back to Blaine, I have a Vaporeon with Surf. That's about it. Still severely underleveled, but that doesn't matter for this fight. You may be asking yourself now,
JohnRamen, you did the gyms out of order. You're supposed to fight Sabrina before you fight Blaine. You're so bad at this game, but I'm still going to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll also follow you on Twitch where I can tell you how to play the game the right way.
that was such a bad self-promotion. I'm keeping it. To answer the first bit, I have another little anecdote about my original playthrough of Pokémon Blue. It starts with the end. That's right. I've never once beaten the original Pokemon games. My journey came to a screeching halt right there. I scoured up and down, left and right, top and bottom for anything that could help me progress. Because you see, I had no idea how to get into Saffron City. The guards are constantly saying that they're thirsty. My first instinct was, okay, I need a strong water type move to give them some water. I came back when I had Surf. Still no access to the city. I was helpless. I did not have a guide for the game to help me, and internet access was not too accessible for me at the time. It was from here I ventured into Pokemon Silver, a game with color, with day and night cycle, with progression my feeble mind could understand. But I am older now, and have access to the internet, so how am I supposed to know that these are vending machines? I don't know what I thought these things were, but vending machines for drinks did not cross my mind at all. These few pixels are the reason I could never beat these games. It wasn't because I wasn't good enough for actual battling or team building or anything like that. No, it was because I didn't know where bottled water was. Anyways, now that I have access to Saffron City, we can deal with all the BS that lies in here, such as Sabrina. As you can tell, I'm skipping all the story beats. These games are nearly as old as I am, and if this video's story was focused on the story of the game, I'd spend more time on it. But this video story is about my story on the game, so I could care less about the story of the game and rather focus on the video story being my story. And just like that, Sabrina's extremely frail team has been demolished by a literal fossil. Great. That just leaves us with our final gym leader, Giovanni, but again, we have a grass type and 2 water types, so this fight is seemingly pointless, save for the fact it's required. But hey, first time I have all 8 badges in the OG games. We take the small victories, but you know what they say, go big or go home. It's time we take on the Elite Four. You may have noticed I still had Weepin' Bell for the Giovanni fight. Well, he learns Razor Leaf at level 38. And Victory Bell doesn't learn it at all, so I was waiting for him to learn that move before evolving, and as fitting as it was, he learns it right as we are leaving Victory Road. So now my team is in full strength as we take on the final gauntlet. And by full strength, I mean we are now nearly 20 levels under leveled. While I'd like to take the time to go over all my trials and tribulations I overcame to conquer the Elite Four, I did what any great PokeTuber would do and hack in rare candies. Look, it's either I hack these in or I spend hours trying to grind all my teammates 20 levels apiece. As a kid, I'd have no problem doing so, but as an adult, I don't have that kind of time or patience anymore. And literally every PokeTuber does it the same way, so I don't feel the need to justify this that much. And there you have it. JohnRamen has finally defeated Pokémon Blue after many, many, many years. And I did it with my original team. As it should be. Thank you for joining me on this journey.